Steve, I know the game didn't end the way you hoped, but you've got to be happy with the effort that group, especially in the second half, showed down there.
Yeah, the effort was phenomenal. Felt like we really deserved to win, and I feel terrible for the guys that we couldn't hang on because the effort, the energy, the commitment. Guy hasn't played in a couple of weeks, and play him the whole fourth quarter. He's like a plus 17 or something. I mean, showing what he did last year. At the end of the year, and the way Pat, got us into our offense and got downhill on pick and roll and distributed the ball, and the way the guys fought. So good to have Melt back. Watching him compete, out there and QP, it was a beautiful effort, and it's just a shame we couldn't finish it off.
In a somewhat similar situation the other night, you didn't close with Pat, you did tonight. Is that just kind of accumulated trust that he's gained? And you stayed with Pat tonight?
Yeah. Tonight was a no-brainer. The other night was a tricky decision, but tonight was obvious. Pat was just incredible out there and controlled the game, and he's just about the right stuff. It's organizationally, you just want to stand for something. You want to have an identity, and it's got to be about competitive spirit and just playing together and competing, and that's what was so beautiful about what that group did down the stretch.
Have you had a chance to talk to Draymond at all? Or?
No.
You praised Pat repeatedly throughout the year, but especially in the last couple of nights. Right now, without Steph, Jimmy, maybe Draymond, are we to a point where he's earned more minutes in the short term?
Yeah, I mean, he played 24 tonight, maybe 22 the other night. So without Steph, for sure, he's got to be out there, and it'll be great to find a way to get him on the roster because he's kind of the perfect guy to have, as a backup. He can win you games like he almost did tonight, but if he doesn't play, he brings the same energy, the same attitude the next game, and so be great if we could find a way, but it's a little tricky.
These nights, are supposed to kind of be the nights that Brandon, Moses, J.K. kind of were the ones to potentially lift y'all up. They've struggled lately in these type of scenarios. What are you seeing with those three? Obviously, you didn't close with them tonight. The stats weren't good.
Every game's different. So tonight was about the other group. Next game could be about those three. So you just roll from game to game and do what you can to try to win the game. And that's why we have 15, 17 players, But if you include our two-ways, like we got a lot of guys who can play, and I think we played 14 people tonight. So, we believe in our depth, and we know that a lot of guys can help us win.
When you have to inbound the ball again after getting it in, what are the challenges there, and what's the play call? How do you want to see your team execute there?
Yeah, I mean, we had to inbound it, I think, 3 or 4 times in the last, 30 or 40 seconds. And, that one was tough. It looked like Melt was open, but I think Buddy thought that he needed to give Pat an outlet, and so they kind of came into the same area. I think Pat was trying to hit Melt, and Buddy was just trying to help him out. So, the play was for him to be in the backcourt to open up that space, but I'm sure Buddy felt like it was going to be a 5-second violation, so he ran up, and it was just an unfortunate play.
You guys were losing the whole game and came back, and until the fourth quarter, like the last 5-4 minutes of the fourth quarter, you came back and fought, but couldn't get the win. Like, how does it feel to lose this game?
Gut punch, total gut punch. There's a couple of these every year, and this one's going to sting. But.
Is there anything that you guys can learn from this loss? Is there anything that the team can learn from this loss?
Yeah, you always learn from wins and losses. We'll watch the tape. The biggest thing, I think, the biggest lesson is can we find groups out there consistently that can play together, compete together, take care of the ball like that last group did. And and have that kind of competitive spirit, have that be your identity. Every game's going to be different. Some nights the ball goes in, other nights it doesn't. But you just want to establish, who you are as a team, and that's what I'm looking for right now.
Draymond missed the other night with a foot sprain. He's played a lot of games early in the season, but where would you say he's been at physically and maybe the concern?
He looks good. He looks lean. He's felt good. So I don't know if what happened tonight was related to the other night, but we'll obviously be very careful with him, and we'll see how he's doing in Cleveland.
Going back to the Anthony for a second, just big picture when everybody's right and healthy, what kind of impact do you feel like?
Huge. You can see the speed, the energy, the two-way capability, can handle the ball, can play off the ball. Melt's a hell of a player.
You obviously knew going into the season that this team was built around 35-year-olds and up. Some sort of injuries are kind of baked into the equation. How close is how the first quarter of the season, injury-wise, is this, compared to what you expected?
In terms of
Your best players
injuries?
being available. Yeah.
I don't ever have any expectations coming into the year for injuries. We just roll with whatever's coming our way. So we have a lot of depth. We believe we can win games like tonight, without our three best players, and I thought we deserved to, frankly, but we couldn't quite close it.